Social media boom has something to do with the kind of this change of things? Do you guys think that it has played any part?
Social media. Okay. I mean, it's a pros and cons kind of thing, and that discussion can go on forever. But I think that social media is little bit of a delusion in many ways. It's great. It has its pros, but it's done a lot of things that have also kind of delusioned a lot of musicians into believing a lot of things that are not true, in the sense that 1 minute clips of people, just showing off, or these little short things are not the same as running a whole concert, right? We know that, like how much rehearsal we have put into just for one concert, and how much it takes, and how many factors are there even into that concert. It's the lights, the sound, travel. People don't even realize that after you rehearse a set, you have to still travel, take a flight, carry your bags, carry your gear, set it up in the sun, do a sound check for a few hours, then you don't have food to eat, then you go and play the gig. So the gig is the last thing that happens after you've been tortured by a bunch of things. And that is the real deal. Not sitting in your room, having in an AC room and completely, protected, and then doing a 1 minute clip, and then you get a lot of views and likes and you think that you're a star, then that's a big, discrepancy, I think, between how it actually works and what's going on, So yeah, it definitely exposes, but I still feel there is some problems in the system.
It's also given rise to this phenomena where you have people with amazing virtuosic skill who are playing, but it's not in context. They're not really part of any band. They don't even have a solo record out. And it's just like, my Instagram is like got clips of like a 12-year-old playing some amazing stuff. And I'm just thinking, what's going to happen with this guy when he's 32? You know, will he sort of like, is this going to move from here? So I think it's useful, but it's too much information, frankly.
It's too much information, exactly. And the algorithms are not pro art. The problem is that.
So pro numbers.
Pro numbers, pro visual,
Also, the Instagram reels, which are in vogue these days, and you just need to make a reel of, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute or something. I mean,
I think it's like 1 minute.
Yeah, it's like 1 minute.
Yeah. Anything more than 30 seconds is a crime, basically.
So I remember we played songs which were like 20 minutes a set, in a set 20 minutes or 10 minutes we were doing stuff. So how does an artist bring the best of what they want to showcase in that span of time, so if the
You
focus is
don't.
that,
You can't. You
so
can't. You can only give
you
out
cannot.
like little, tidbits of information. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna play a 3 octave arpeggio, and this is how you can do it, and you just do it, and that's the clip. But no one talks about like rehearsing stuff or jamming with other people. It's very much like I said. This culture is now a very me-centered culture where it's just that person and that's it. Even Sheldon, like people like Rick Beato. It's a great channel, but I have a feeling it's more for music enthusiasts than for musicians.
Yeah, of course, because other people will. Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Though some things are really nice. I like some of the stuff he
Yes,
does. No doubt.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, but
But
yeah,
Yeah.
this culture has changed. It's social media has changed the emphasis from the
yeah.
community to the person.
If you look at it like this, like I mean, you can't replace a movie by a trailer, can you?
Hmm.
Like
True.
a trailer is a trailer, and you still got to see the movie to understand the storyline, and nothing replaces that. So if
Yeah,
we are writing a 5 minute song or a 10 minute or 20 minute song, I mean, you can only give so much in a 30 seconds to 1 minute kind of clip, which is going to be a trailer, but it's not everything, and it's criminal that if you're going to depend on those 1 minute clips to really tell the whole story, which is so I think people are losing out a lot of information and beautiful things actually by doing that.
yeah.
So
Do you guys think that maybe people generally have stopped really listening to music and are more entertainment fans, even
Yes,
if
I
it's somewhat
exactly.
serious music, even if it's somewhat music that is a bit challenging,
I
that requires a
agree.
bit of listening. I think people just
I
hear
do
music
agree.
but
and
but but
they
Mikael, like I mean, think about it. I mean, we all grew up on bands like Dream Theater and Rush, and those guys played long songs, and everyone was entertained by it.
yeah.
So, are we conditioning youngsters nowadays into accepting just these things, or are we shortening their attention spans to a level where now it's more detrimental to the music only? I'm
Yeah.
just,
I think you're right. You've hit a key point, which is that instant gratification from anything is the
yeah,
new normal. Having to dig deep or having to sort of like give it some time, uh,
yeah,
that seems to have gone out of the window. It's just like I want to be amazed in the next 5 seconds. Otherwise,
yeah,
sorry,
exactly.
I'm just going to move on. And you
And
can't
also,
do
I'd like
that.
to add something to this, that classical or jazz music is essentially about improvisation, and you need to kind of learn a lot to be able to improvise. I mean, that is also an art, and that requires a specific time for you to kind of come to that rag, or that space, and then start improvising. So if that timeline is cut off from the entire thing, like when we used to play, Mekaal would improvise on a certain thing, or you know, you might have an open section where Papu
Section,
Saab
yeah.
would improvise or Sheldon would improvise. He did a amazing job in Ya Ali. I remember in that live
That's a sick solo, man.
Sheldon. That was an amazing solo, and he just
Sick solo.
went for it. So that was the thrill of that entire live. I mean, we enjoyed performing, and the audience enjoyed. It was also like 7 8 years back, as Mikal
But
said.
the funny thing, Sharmistha, sorry to cut you, is that
Yeah.
people commented on everybody, on the flute solos, on the bass solos, Sheldon's solo, Gino's drum play. So people were actively listening. I think Sheldon's right that it's a conditioning that's happened where people just don't get what the instrument is doing or what the musician is doing. They absolutely haven't the foggiest idea. The closest thing that they can come to is the words and the vocal. That's all they're listening to. So it makes it really hard to write stuff that you find interesting, but will also connect with the people who listen to you. So I think that's a real heavy challenge. And it's also I'm not listening to. It's like all the songs start sounding the same to me now. It's
Yeah,
everything's a fucking hook. The intro's a hook. The verse is a hook. The chorus is another hook. There's no dynamics or it's hard to find that
no
music now.
storytelling. Yeah,
There's no storytelling. Exactly. It's not like it unfolds and it builds up to something and it leads you
And the
somewhere.
craziest thing, no, Mikael, check this out. I mean, it's amazing that talking about Rick Beato, he interviewed Sting, right? And Sting mentioned this beautiful thing that the bridge is for him was all is therapy to the rest of the song. It's where it just gives you an opening. It opens up therapy for that point, and whatever you were talking about in the whole song. Now this bridge is that therapy for that story. And it's
Right.
so funny that today, if you listen to a lot of music, modern music, it does not have a bridge.
That's what I'm saying. It's like tuck 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 tuck, like one after the other, and
Yeah.
it's done in like 3 minutes. God forbid it should be more than 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't get
it's true
that.
because most playlists, like including from Spotify and all that, they just don't want songs that are more than 2.5, 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They just
Right. We're
they don't.
screwed because most of our stuff tends to be above 6 7 minutes. So
Yeah.
we're screwed. मेरे को 2 2 मिनट के गाने लिखने चाहिए.
So does this mean that we need to change with time to keep the pace, or should we stick to what we believe? Like, what is the approach? What should be the approach? What do you guys think?
2 मिनट के सॉन्ग में कौन सी सोलो
वही हो
सोलो को शॉर्ट करना
वही बात
पड़ेगा
हो रही
फिर।
है ना. तो इतना वो लोगों का टेंशन इतना
मतलब
थोड़ा होता
ऑडियंस को केटर करने के लिए क्या करें? क्या हम अपना जो भी एक्ट है उसको थोड़ा चेंज
है.
करके पेश
मेरे
करें?
ख्याल से
बड़ी
वही.
एक सिंपल सी बात है, अगर कोई क्लासिकल सिंगर बैठ के अकेला गाता है, लाइक कौशिकी चक्रवर्ती, कितनी
जी।
अच्छी सिंगर है, अगर वो 2 मिनट का गाएंगी तो लोग क्या एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे उनसे? तो इसी तरह हर बैंड का, हर आर्टिस्ट का अपना एक व्यू होता है, अपनी एक प्रिंसिपलिटी होती है जो लोगों को तक पहुंचानी होती है। तो अगर एक टीम वर्क में शेल्डन जैसे अच्छे प्लेयर, जीनो जैसे अच्छे, शर्मिष्ठा जैसे अच्छी गाने वाली, मिकाल जैसे छोटा सा, मैं भी एक आर्टिस्ट हूँ, ये सब लोग मिलके अगर कुछ 2 मिनट में खत्म करेंगे तो लोग कहेंगे कि यार ये बिल्कुल ही वही है, हमें तो कुछ करना है, तो फिर लोगों को नजर आना है ना। तो 7 मिनट यहाँ तक तो एक्सप्रेशन बड़ी कॉमन सी है।
अच्छा, another thing is कि हम जिस किस्म के लोग हैं, like the kind of music we like, even if we were to do a sellout, and let's say you became a hip hop artist, Mr. I don't think you would be comfortable with it
Yeah.
because it's not the music you resonate with. It's not the music you grew up with. So I think we're cursed by what we do because we want to do just this one way of doing it. And like I said, जब commercial काम होता है, so then you completely throw away all your musical ideas aside, and you just, okay, it's a bubblegum ad. I have to make music which will work with the ad. So you're immediately focused somewhere else, and that's not making music. That's just the product. But when we sit and write our stuff,
Yeah.
we're trying to write good songs with good parts and good sections and that kind
Yeah.
of deal.
And they stay because we did Coke Studio. I mean, so many years back. I still keep getting messages that we are very inspired by Kinare, or very inspired by Sanya. So
Yeah,
the
and we
work
only
that
got to
we've
do two
done,
songs. We just got to do two
Yeah, so
songs. I mean,
to answer that question, Sharmistha, I mean that's you answering your own question. Is that we need to continue doing what we love to do and do it well.
yeah,
I mean, there is going to be maybe a niche audience, but that audience is going to last us forever, and
yeah,
that is
that's what
true,
the
man.
music is about. Yeah, we
Absolutely,
don't
man.
have to cater to everybody. It's okay.
Yeah,
and
I
trends
still
also keep changing. So
trends will
Yeah,
keep changing, but I think traditional music that's tied into some kind of tradition has more value, musical value, than something which is just a trend. Like the stuff that's out this week, possibly by the end of the month, no one even remembers it. You know,
that is true.
and I still get so many messages and YouTube comments on songs we did like God knows like 20 years ago. So it's still kind of like it holds on its own because it was done a certain way. Musicians
yeah,
weren't replaceable. Everybody who played had their sound. And I think that's how good albums are made. People don't even make records anymore, man. What am I talking about? It's singles,
yeah.
Yes, the
singles, and
singles trend also has, uh, yeah. But this entire band culture is also changing. It's either a very open ensemble where, like, there are very few bands who are sticking by the members and playing a regular set.
Yeah, because
Most,
it's hard. It's very
yeah,
difficult to run a band. It's one thing to be a part of a band, but it's very very difficult to run a band. It's just, financially and just in terms of just persevering, because you're up against so many things and it takes so much out of you. It's hard to maintain bands as well. That's probably another reason why bands break up, because it's just hard to maintain it. It's a tough job.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
and it's
hmm,
not to sound like, I mean, pessimistic, but the thing is that if we learn from, I think, if the whole culture, at least going forward, the next generations learn what's stopping us from having bands, what's stopping us from having better music. If we understand that and start cultivating that, it can come back. It will make a difference. I feel it's just an awareness and a conscious effort to do it. If
Yeah,
your mind is towards, I need to make money, I need to make do this as survival, or it's all about me, I want to get the luxury of this industry, then you have it all wrong, and then obviously the music is not going to happen like that.
but
It's
that's the vast majority of people. I know talented guys who are just who don't have anything of their own. They just play for sessions, and they don't have a band, and they're all really good musicians. It's not like they're bad musicians at all. But I think that's a financial decision that people make, and once they get stuck in that, तो अगर वो gig regular है तो फिर वो meter down, that's your gig then, and then you don't have time for your own ideas, you don't have time for your own stuff. So there is that aspect too, that you have to make a choice. It's hard to keep both things going at the same time.
so Mikael, who are the youngsters you think that are coming up in Pakistan? The bands that you you would recommend for us to hear, listen to?
Uh, there's a like a prog metal band, really good, Takatak. They're good.
Yeah,
You guys have heard Poor Rich
I
Boys,
think I
so
heard the
they're older.
drummer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
two
quite good.
brothers who play drums.
Hmm.
They're really good. There's another band up in Islamabad called Sakin, but they've been
Uh,
very quiet for a while, but they're a good band. There's another band called Wisdom Salad. These are the three I can think of, which
okay,
are
Wisdom
still.
Salad. I haven't. I've checked Sakin, but I haven't heard Wisdom Salad.
nice
What kind of
band
music?
names.
Yeah, nice band names. Eh?
Wisdom
Just
Salad.
check this out, Taka Tuck.
Chakatak.
That's so funny and such a
Chakatak
cool
is that,
name.
they have this platter
Ah,
with like
Taka Tuck.
kidneys and liver and testicles. And they
Oh,
just,
really?
yeah, they like, that's why it's
Yeah.
called that.
So was
Chakatak.
his wisdom? What did you say? Wisdom?
Salad.
Wisdom Salad.
Yeah. So what kind of music do they play?
It's proggy, instrumental prog. It's good stuff. But like
Okay.
I said, these guys have maybe like Takatak is really prolific in its output. They have like a record out. They're working on another record. They're doing all their vocals at my place. That's how I know of it.
Okay.
Uh, and in fact, Sky Harbor's Keshav Dar, he mixes for them.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
So they have like a great sound and it's a great band. But in terms of gigs, all the bands that I mentioned, including us, we really struggle to find good paying gigs. And at the end of it all is like maybe you get like a festival, occasional festival, and then you're faced with having to play for a lot of people who don't probably know your music. So again, you're back to that situation of you have to have familiar songs and songs that they've heard. So it's kind of like it is pessimistic, but there's not much we can do.